Doctoratus in Literis is Martin Finbar Furey, and the citation will be read by Associate Professor Bairbre.
Deputy President, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, agus a chóir dílig. It is a great privilege for me to give this address here today in honour of Finbar Furey, and I would like to say also that I'm delivering this citation not only on my own behalf, but also on behalf of my colleague, Dr. Citation McCarthy, Director of the National Folklore Collection here in UCD. Citation and I have had the pleasure of knowing Finbar and his family for many years, and it's a source of immense satisfaction and delight to both of us to see his remarkable achievements acknowledged and celebrated here today by UCD. Finbar Furey, as we all know, is an exceptional person by any standards. He first saw the light of day in the heart of Dublin City, spending his early childhood in the historic Liberties area before moving with his family to the then recently established suburb of Ballyfermot in the west of Dublin when he was still very young. Ballyfermot might not have been the wealthiest part of Dublin in conventional terms, but Finbar was brought up in a world which was richer by far than that lived in by most Dubliners at the time, or indeed in the present, in terms of art, culture, music and creativity. The media in which Finbar grew up was privileged indeed. Born into a family of gifted musicians, Finbar was exposed from his earliest years to a living and vibrant tradition of music, music making, storytelling and singing, which most of us will never be so lucky to know. The Furey household in Ballyfermot was a centre for the elite of traditional music, and regular visitors to the house included the likes of Leo Rosum, Seamus Ennis, Felix Doran, and other members of the piping aristocracy of Ireland at that time. As I'm sure you know, Finbar's father, Ted, was a highly regarded fiddle player with a vast range of traditional tunes in his repertoire, some of which appeared on his own album, Toss the Feathers, released in the late 1960s. Perhaps not so well known is the fact that Finbar's mother, Nora, was also a musician, being an accomplished banjo player and singer, and Finbar indeed would always credit both his parents as being of fundamental importance to his own development as a musician. For that reason, in terms of lineage and connections, therefore, Finbar's background could hardly have been more high-ranking or auspicious for his future career. The most exclusive musical conservatories and academies could never have provided Finbar with the inspiration and experience which he used so well to become the brilliant piper and virtuoso musician whom we all appreciate so much and honour here today. And we can only be grateful for the way in which he has succeeded in enriching our lives by drawing on his own. Finbar's career in music could hardly have been more illustrious. While still a teenager, he won the All-Ireland Uilleann Piping Junior Championship at Fhloinn na hÉireann, as well as winning all 4 provincial titles and other awards during roughly the same period. Not surprisingly, he went on to win the All-Ireland Senior Championship Award 2 years in succession in 1965 and 1966. While also in his teens, Finbar won the Oireachtas Medal for Uilleann Piping, for which the famous County Clare Uilleann piper Willie Clancy was one of the adjudicators, describing the young Finbar as a prince among pipers, a title which has deservedly stayed with him over the years. Having attained the highest of accolades from his peers in the world of traditional music, Finbar is somewhat unusual among traditional musicians in having gone on to achieve huge acclaim and status at popular level also in Ireland and abroad, establishing himself as a major figure in the national consciousness and playing a central part in the revival of Irish traditional and folk music which took place from the late 1960s onwards, as we know. Finbar thus performed the almost impossible feat of pleasing purists and proletariat alike, for which he most certainly deserves yet another medal. Finbar started touring abroad with his brother Eddie in Scotland and elsewhere in the late 1960s, and indeed, as Finbar himself would say, Eddie was very instrumental, if you pardon the pun, in the subsequent success of the Fureys. The two brothers, Finbar and Eddie, joined up in the 1970s with their other two brothers, Paul and George, and with Irish-Scottish singer and instrumentalist Davy Arthur. This combination went through a number of names and incarnations before finally settling on the title of the Fureys and Davy Arthur. And it was with this lineup that the group started to achieve worldwide success and recognition for their unique sound and extraordinary talent. Chart-topping albums and hit singles were the order of the day from then on, taking Finbar from Carnegie Hall to the Albert Hall, with an occasional stop-off in O'Donoghue's pub on Merrion Row on the way. Since the mid-1990s, Finbar has pursued a solo career, leading to fresh success and acclaim, and to the further evolution of his music and his artistry. His solo work has also allowed him to develop his talents as a prolific songwriter, and his creativity continues, thankfully, right up to the present, with albums and CDs still appearing on a regular basis. With his access to a global audience, Finbar has served as a unique cultural ambassador for Ireland on countless occasions in many parts of the world, helping to establish a global following for and an international appreciation of Irish music in general and uilleann piping in particular. Typically, however, Finbar has never forgotten his roots, and he has devoted much of his life to promoting the uilleann pipes and making them more easily available to those who want to play them. In this context, he has done extensive work with the Irish Uilleann Pipers organisation, na Bairbre Uilleann, and his efforts in this area bring us right up to the present day, with the publication by that organisation just a couple of weeks ago of a series of reed-making videos with Finbar and two other expert reed makers. Similarly, Finbar has never forgotten his background and proud heritage in the travelling community, and he has long been a tireless champion for the rights of Ireland's only ethnic minority, who have made such an extraordinary contribution to our musical and oral tradition and to the survival of that tradition with such vibrancy into the present day. In this context, it must also be said that Finbar's achievements are all the more remarkable given the widespread racism which all travellers had to deal with on a regular basis in the past, and also, sadly, to some extent in the present. Happily for us, Finbar was able to rise above such prejudice and injustice and follow his own vision. Of the many awards which he has been given throughout his long career, one particular tribute refers to the way in which Finbar and his music have always represented the values of courage, honesty, diversity, and compassion. In this connection, mention should be made of Finbar's long-standing work with the Irish Prison Service, which has involved him performing in prisons and organising workshops with prisoners as part of his unflagging commitment to the less privileged in Irish society. On a similar note, Finbar's most recent single, appearing in the middle of our recent lockdown, focuses on the topical issues of environmental destruction, climate change, and ensuing problems of homelessness and displacement. And at this point, I can't resist mentioning that I attended a vigil at the GPO in support of the people of Ukraine last Saturday week, at which various pieces of Ukrainian music were played. The only Irish artist who featured on that occasion was, however, Finbar Furey, which somehow seemed entirely fitting given Finbar's lifelong commitment to the downtrodden and the dispossessed. There is so much more we could say about Finbar, but time unfortunately won't allow it. He is, for example, not only an extraordinary piper, but an amazing banjo player as well, as we'll be hearing later on, I'm glad to say, with his multi-instrumentalism extending also to the flute, the guitar, the tin whistle, and probably a number of other instruments also. He even helped invent an instrument, that being the now well-known Overton flute. And as if that were not enough, we could add to his credits the titles of storyteller, poet, composer, arranger, producer, and actor. His life, like his music, is a rich tapestry which has attracted admiration from all imaginable quarters. Suffice it to say that few musicians can claim as their fans the late great BBC DJ John Peel, the film director Martin Scorsese, and the Ceann Comhairle of the Dáil, Sean O'Farrell, all in the one breath. Before I finish, I'd like to say that it is particularly appropriate that UCD should be honouring Finbar's achievements here today, as he has long-standing connections with the university and especially with the National Folklore Collection. Finbar's daughter, Anya, studied Irish folklore and ethnology at postgraduate level in UCD, and Finbar very generously donated a valuable music manuscript compiled by his father, Ted Furey, to the archives of the National Folklore Collection some years ago, presenting the volume at a special ceremony presided over by the then president of UCD, Professor Art Cosgrove. Indeed, this presentation seemed particularly appropriate as one of the nicknames enjoyed by Ted Furey on account of his musical prowess was the Professor. So all very apt. In any case, a heartfelt thanks is due to Finbar for sharing his genius and his gifts with us, and a heartfelt thanks also to Finbar's wife, Sheila, and to his children, Martin, Anya, Katrina, Robert, and Finbar, for sharing Finbar with us. His contribution to the world of Irish traditional music and Irish culture has been truly exceptional, and we all owe him a huge debt of gratitude. Or muchas ó chrílaat as an écht atá bainte amach agat Finbar, nor laga dia de láv agus gomara tú an céad. Guramína Magi. Pre honorabilis pro praeses totaque universitas presento vobis hunc meum filium quem scio tamoribus quam doctrina habilem et idoneum esse qui admitatur honoris causa ad gradum doctoratus in litteris idque tibi fide mea testor expondio totique academiae.
Ego auctoritate mea concessa admitto ad gradum doctoratus in litteris honoris causa.
Ladies and gentlemen, Finbar Furey is a virtuoso instrumentalist on pipes, whistle, and banjo. He is a captivating vocalist and one of the most popularly acclaimed musicians to emerge from the Irish folk music revival. Inspired by his dad, Ted Furey, he's deeply immersed in the musical traditions of the travelling community. His role in popularising Irish folk music, bringing it to new audiences in Ireland and overseas, is unrivalled. Wherever and whenever Irish people gather to celebrate and sing, you can be sure that the music made famous by Finbar will be heard. Accompanied by his special guest, Paul O'Driscoll, it is my absolute great pleasure to welcome on stage Dr. Finbar Furey.
Thank you very much. It's a good job they got us out of that bar, I can tell you. Now, I didn't know what to do. I've just 2 songs to do, but I'd like to dedicate both of them to the Furey family. My brothers are on tour at the moment. They're in Holland, Eddie and George. And my family are here tonight. My wife, Sheila, especially a big hand. She's been the pillar of my life. That's the truth. You know, we've travelled, we've done everything. Myself and herself, we've been married for 54 years now. We have the wonderful Mary O'Hara here. Give Mary a big hand. I love her singing. She's a great singer. I lived in Waterford. We moved to Waterford in 1976. I left Ireland in 1967. I met Joe Heaney, Lord Mason Joe. Joe used to stay in our house. She's a great piano singer. And when I was playing laments on the pipes, Joe used to tell me the story of Anna Coon and tell me the story of all the laments that would play the Coolin and, you know, these wonderful laments on the pipes. And he gave me what I feel, and I think, because I knew the story of these wonderful songs he would sing. And he always talked with his teeth closed like that, you know. Now, come here a minute, I'll tell you something now. And he stayed in our house, which was a wonderful thing, you know. I didn't really appreciate him as a child, you know. But he used to love singing with the drones at the pipes. I'd put the drones on because they held the key, you know. And they would sing Anna Coon or Rev Twig and Garrick. It was amazing, the story of it. And I grew up sort of on 2 sides of music. My father, you know, wanted me to be a piper, which I became. And my mother wanted me to be a banjo player, which I have tonight. So I thought we'd choose the woman's night tonight, you know. And she had this amazing style of playing the banjo, which 2 fingers on her thumb, she go, I'll show you in a minute now. When we lived in Waterford, I used to hang around, in Dunmore East, I used to hang around with the fishermen all the time. And I'd hear stories from them. They would absolutely blind you, you know, with stories, especially late at night. And I heard one story about a fellow called Michael Power. He was 17 years old, and he was on the fishing trawlers. He'd no place else to go, that's where he slept. Anyway, the boat got into trouble one night and collapsed, and he was drowned. And his body was washed up in Wexford Harbour. And he'd written a note and put it in his pocket. And it said, I'm a stranger to your pity, and my name is Michael Parr. I leave behind this note I write for my girl in sweet and more. Oh, there's high winds on the ocean, love, beneath these crazy skies. Cold fear stares back at me from my shipmate's eyes. And there's nothing quite as eerie when old Neptune blows the blues. He can scare you all the way, love, right down to your shoes. I can hear him loud like a locomotive, train on a broken track. Salty heroes, we bless ourselves, but we don't look back. And memories of you are chasing out my mind. Dreams of tomorrow, love now, I must leave behind. Oh, SOS to the girl I love. Don't spend your life alone. Don't wait up for me tonight. I'm not coming home. This hurricane, this situation weird, how it rocks this heart of mine. And the skipper's praying for all our lives, and for those we leave behind. Oh, SOS to the girl I love. Don't spend your life alone. Don't wait up for me, love, tonight. I'm not coming home. And memories of you are chasing out my mind. Dreams of tomorrow, love, I must leave behind. Oh, SOS to the girl I love. Don't spend your life alone. Don't wait up for me, love, tonight. I'm not coming home. Don't wait up for me tonight. I'm not coming home. Over. As I went walking one morning in May, to view yonder valleys and mountains so fair. I was thinking of those flowers all falling to decay, that bloom around you, bunny, bunny, sleep and pray. And often in the morning with my dog and my gun, I like to go roving, for joy and for fun. But these days they are all over. Now I'm far away. So farewell unto you, Bonnie, Bonnie, sleep and embrace. And often in the evening, when the sun was in the west, I like to walk hand in hand with the one I love best, but the hopes of youth have ended, and now I'm far away. So farewell unto you, Bonnie, Bonnie, sleep and it's not far the want of a playment at home that causes sons and daughters of sorrow far to roam. But the rents were getting higher, and we could no longer stay. So farewell unto you, Bonnie, Bonnie, sleep and embrace. But the rents were getting higher, and we could no longer stay. So farewell unto you, Bonnie, Bonnie, sleep and embrace. For Sheila. You're Margaret. I'd like to thank Bairbre for her wonderful speech today about me. I thought she'd never stop. She missed a bit, though, a little bit here and there. I love telling stories, you know. On stage, I think it's important to be a part of where we are. Say a couple of lads at home walking to the Dole office one morning. I've been there, I know that story. And one says to the other, Mick, he said, if you won the lotto, what would you do with all that money? He says, Chase, he said, I'd give you a half paddy I'll give you half because you're my best friend. And he said, if you won 2 houses in a raffle, what would you do with the 2 houses? He said, I give you one, he said, I give you one because you're my best pal. He says, and what if you had 2 bicycles? He says, feck off now, you know very well I've got 2 bicycles. Anyway, I'm going to leave us with this. I haven't played banjo for a while now. It's been fingers are blistered because I'm trying to get myself ready for tonight. And this song I wrote, it's about the famine. And I spent a lot of time in Galway and Clare when I was a very small kid. I actually walked the famine pathway, you know, in my bare feet. My father told me to take my shoes off. I think it was to save the leather from the salt water, but anyway. But thank you very much for the wonderful day. Bairbre, thank you very much. And everybody here in the college who made us so welcome today. And it was a wonderful day. It's just, my father and mother would love it. My brothers have gone to her. They would love it too. Thank you. Well done. Big, huge hand for everybody that was on here tonight. Donald and Andy. Mary Bergen looks great. Thousands fled on famine ships with great farewell. Jew in Erin, we'd see no more as our flesh fell from our bones, where the pain rose on high to feed the darkened skies, to bear witness to heaven's eyes. night, where the banshee cried her fill, where the pain rose on high to feed the darkened sky, to bear witness to heaven's eyes. Cold genocide. What we do? Why not? Let's go for it. When first I saw the love light in your eye, I thought the world had not been joy for me. And even though we drifted far apart, I never dreamed but what I dream of thee. For Sheila, I love you as I've never loved you before. Since first I saw you on the village green, come to me in my dreams of love raw. I love you as I loved you when you were sweet, when you were sweet. 16. Sing it with me. I love you, come on, as I've never loved before. Since first I saw you on the village green, come to me in my dreams of love raw. Man, I'm nearly home. I love you
Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Dr. Finbar Furey, Paul O'Driscoll. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been a fantastic evening here.